So this is the next video on astronomical BS. If you're interested in finding out what I've found out over the last 4 or 5 years, stay tuned and we'll go through it a bit. Before we start, I want to reiterate some things about what we do when we're looking at these videos and photographs, and that's assuming that there is nothing in the video that is other than dust and rock. There should be nothing but dust and rock. And what we're looking for is anything that isn't. So let's go through and see what we can find. There is the fact that I've mentioned before on previous videos that Ben Rich, who used to be the director before he died of Skunkworks, said that about 2 years before his death, said that they have got the technology to visit the stars and anything else that you can perceive, they already know what to do. So let's assume for a moment that they have travelled to the moon, which I've already proven. I believe they've travelled to 67P Juramacinco satellite and explored that. And I believe that if they can do that, although the satellite that went to 67P might have been purely automatic, but what I found on that escapade was something that shouldn't be there. Some kind of animal on a drilling rig, which is just plain weird. But anyway, so basically 3 questions that I'll be covering. Is there life on Mars? Was there life on Mars? And if there is life on Mars, what does that life look like? And we'll go through that with a few pictures that I've captured and discovered, and we'll go through some bits and pieces. Some of the stuff was highlighted to me by Chris from Mars Anomalies, great channel if you've not ever seen it. He does a marvellous job of going over all the NASA photographs, and he's got a couple of mates who can put these colour plates together of big landscapes when you consider the photographs are actually taken one snap at a time. This guy, I think his name's Neil, has the ability to stitch all these colour plates together, make a big landscape, which when you're exploring yourself on the computer is very useful. But anyway, we'll go over that. I'm going to assume that for the argument that we have actually been to Mars, whether we've been told about it or not make any difference. I think the technology that is involved is available to those with the power and the money, and so when a rover is sent up for a 90-day mission, batteries depending on enough sunlight coming through to recharge over the 90 days, and it's still functioning after 12 years, then someone somewhere is lying, and we obviously know who that is. We get pictures of the rover covered in dust, and the next minute it's clean as a whistle. Yeah, been through the car wash, I dare say. So anyway, I believe that the technology exists to travel to Mars. Whether I'm right, I don't know. I'm assuming. But is there life on Mars? debatable. It was always proposed by Chris and myself from Mars Anomalies that if there was humanoid life on Mars, something that would look like us in some way, they would be quite small. One, because of the gravity of Mars is quite low, and the other being that after what we propose happened, that they wiped themselves out over the millennia, that to survive they probably went underground, and I've seen a couple of things that would maybe indicate that. So yeah, I think they would be, as humanoids, quite small, and I have at least one picture that I think explains that. So we'll start off with some anomalies that I've found. They're static, they're nothing to rave about, but they are proof that there was a life previously, before whatever wiped the Mars population out was there in existence. Now, a lot of anomalies were observed in the Dingo Gap area of Mars. It's a small sand dune dam, about 3 meters high, only about 10 meters wide. But if you look at it, if you go and have a look at it, it's there up on the computer. Have a look at what you could see going south, I think it is, at Dingo Gap. You can see a lot of bits and pieces that shouldn't be there. I mean, if it ain't rock and dust, it shouldn't be there. So we'll have a look at Dingo Gap. We'll have a look at some of the anomalies. I personally think that Dingo Gap was originally a water pumping station for the people, beings of Mars, I think. Because there's a lot of anomalies. I'm a builder by trade, so there's a lot of anomalies that kind of make it look like it would be a pumping station. There's some plumbing bits and pieces, faucets and pipes, washers, that kind of thing. Make it look like it could have been some kind of pumping station. I'm guessing, but you know, I'm only giving you what I think. So we'll have a look at some of the things in Dingo Gap, and one particular thing, being a carpenter by trade and builder by trade, is a copper pipe cutter. It's a G-clamp shaped device with a cutting wheel at the top and rollers at the bottom. You put the pipe in the middle, you screw a handle up. I'll put a picture up of it, and as you flip the G-clamp shape over and over itself, so it cuts through the copper pipe. Now, why am I saying this? Because there's one embedded in a rock on the other side of Dingo Gap. Shouldn't be there. It doesn't matter if I'm wrong. It doesn't matter if it isn't. It shouldn't be there. So I'll post a picture up of a proper copper pipe cutter. Then I'll post a picture up of the item embedded in the rock. Now, what I believe, if that's true, and I'm not getting it right, I'm not screwed up, it's going to be something like, if there was a nuclear war, atomic war, whatever, you know, a lot of the stuff we're looking at is debris from concrete, debris from rock, and these items are strewn all over the place. Why is it embedded in a rock? Well, at the temperatures we're talking about, if that rock, boulder, concrete, whatever, was molten in the time of the explosions, it's quite possible that the item got embedded in the rock or the material at a time of the explosion itself, and ended up getting stuck there. What I think, anyway. Various bits and pieces at Dingo Gap, like chain links or chains or rebar sticking out of lumps of rock, or call it broken concrete. Rebar sticking out of broken concrete makes sense. So, yeah, I believe that there was life on Mars, for sure. There's another item there that looks exactly like a coal-heated iron from like the, I don't know, 1850s, late 1800s, where you'd put a lump of hot coal in iron, in a lump of iron, had a hole in the back of it, and you could use that to iron your clothes for a little while before the coal cooled off. There's one of those just laying there on the floor, just weird as. So we'll have a look at a few of those pictures and let you see what I've discovered. And this is all conjecture. I mean, I can't prove anything. It's what I've seen or what I've found. This is all coming from NASA photographs. So, not me, not my fault. I'm just looking at what's been put out there. The ESA have a great selection of photographs. They don't edit their photographs as much as NASA, but yeah, have a look through these things. I've spent literally hundreds, if not thousands of hours going over all these photographs, going over the videos, using a magnifying glass, because very often these photographs are taken at a distance, and so things that may be missed, you can pick up with a magnifying glass. You can't enlarge it on the computer because it pixelates, but a magnifying glass will show you the image larger without pixelating it. So magnifying glass is good. If you look around about the scenery that I'll post a few pictures of, you will see that there's some grey shale or grey shingle. Looks like where water in the past has been running, dare say not now, but I do think it's where water has been running and left its trail of debris like a river delta would do. And so you could deduce from that yeah, I think there was water running in various parts of that landscape, and so easy for life to exist there. But the atmosphere is another thing. Atmosphere is gone, radiation comes in. Yeah, it's a difficult one. But if Elon Musk is saying we're going to go back there to live, he's got a lot of work to do to make it livable. Okay, to continue with, I'll put a few pictures up of the anomalies that I've found, but also there's a picture of one of the rover's lander backed up against a rock. Now, the landers typically are about, what would I say, 24 inches long by about 14 inches high, I'm guessing here. And this particular picture is, yeah, it's either a complete fraud or it's real, and I'm not sure which. But there's a picture of a lander backed up to a rock. And I've seen pictures of this particular item without the entity. And I've found this one particular picture that was in one of the Mars Anomalies videos. I just did a cut it out and just saved it, of a little, I don't know what you call it, an entity, humanoid, would be 18 inches high, got a conical shaped head, looks like it's got a uniform on. I don't think anyone using CGI would actually bother, to be honest, to do it. So it could be real. And again, if it is real, you've got to think that these guys live underground. I found a couple of items that looked like periscopes, and could be periscopes if they're underground. I don't know. I'm just amusing myself by finding these things. So we'll put a few of those pictures up. Now also I found a picture of something hiding behind a rock. Looks like a small octopus. NASA is saying it's tree roots, not tentacles. I beg to differ. And you can see the eyes at the back of this rock, and then tentacles hanging out. They're a bit odd. There's another picture I think everyone's seen of this crab-like creature over the orifice of a cave that I think has been published many times. There's also another picture of a landscape that's got some kind of crab creature, and crabs have been mentioned, so crab spiders have been mentioned by many people, either making stories up or not, about them meeting these creatures and having to fight them or run away from them or whatever. But I'll put one of those up, you can have a look at it. I'll looking through the pictures from NASA, I've seen things that look like habitats. I've seen mouldings that look like they've been designed. I've seen embellishments on rocks and boulders that look like numbers. I don't know if they are or not. You've got to ponder these things, because for a start off, you know that you're not getting the truth out of NASA. You'd be lucky to get a decent, clear photograph from NASA, considering the amount of money they spend on these cameras. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And when it comes to common sense, I've been given a lot of common sense by my dad. My dad was a real monarch when it comes to common sense. If I said something stupid, he would just look at me. Not a hard man, he was a very soft man, but he would look at me and sort of say, really? And that would be enough. And over the years, I've kind of developed that. And I don't take anything for granted. I don't take anything knowledge-wise for granted. I always question everything. That's why I got into the lunar stuff, and then found the bridge, and then found the pipeline and all that nonsense. So it's obvious that they're up there doing something. Mining is the first choice. And then finding generators puffing smoke, and so on and so on. So I investigate everything that I see in the astronomical world, and I tend to find there's an awful lot of stuff that we're being told that it's just not true. Just absolutely not true. And so I'm taking great joy out of doing these videos, whether they get watched or not. Doesn't bother me at all. But I know by doing it, I've put it out there. If people choose to look at it and understand it, maybe investigate for themselves, they will. And if they don't, hey, that's cool too. I'm just doing what I think I should do. So in the Mars thing, I will put up some more pictures of items, anomalies that I've found on Dingo Gap and other places. And whatever I put up, I'll put a comment on